Hello everybody, welcome back for lesson number 5. I have partnered with Dream Technology System to produce this video. I hope that it benefit everybody. Let us go into the detail of today's lesson. Often that we hear material supplier that they do not have certain material, so we used to replace material. For example, that the purchaser come back say, "Oh, sorry, my material supposed to be 5 mm, now I have 10 mm thickness," so that you have to face off. So that would be a problem if we use the same program. So this is how we gonna go about to solve this problem by using a thicker raw material. Of course, the cycle time will be longer, but bear in mind sometimes the price is cheaper for a thicker raw rather than the one that we plan to do on the original program. So our content today is going to be a file open and then the detail of the lesson. It's going to be short, don't worry. It's going to be quick as well. So this is the interface that ZW3D that we started off. So we go back to open the same file that we select this original L1-S1. So we open the file and we select the cam to start the main screen. This is the main screen on the cam that we did on the last round, but we already improved the cycle time to 5.87 minutes. Now we want to change the raw material because the raw material need to be thicker now from 5 mm to 10 mm. So that could we need to change the top facing one to become 2 passes to reduce the number of thickness. There's no change on the top facing number 2 because that is a final cut. We need to do the roughing cut. So how we go about? So we need to edit the raw material and then we want to hide the final, and then we want to work on the roughing and we edit it, we verify post-processing and save file. This is like quite a normal routine that a programmer need to do if there is any changes or revision or material and all kind of situation. So how we're gonna go about? We double click the stock. This is where you go. We want to change the thickness of the raw material. So by the time you double click, we will write the system will drive us to this part mode. We need to change the thickness of the raw material on the top portion. So how we go about? We have to use the direct edit on top. An easier way to do it, of course there's multiple ways to do it, but this is one of the easiest that I found. Of course, along the way that we will introduce other method, because solving a problem if there are multiple methods is depend on scenario and circumstances. So we did this way by using we are going to do the way that the easier way that I think so, which is using the direct edit. Okay, we want to do an offset, so by selecting the top plane. So how we're going to go about? We click this one and the screen will ask you to select a face. So we're going to do is that we're going to move our mouse on top so you can see the color changes. So we want to change it to 5 mm thick. So by the time you type 5 mm, you move your mouse to another place. The minute you click somewhere, then they will show you the thickness increase from the original to the later time. So how we go about? Then we click OK, the thick. Then we will finish off with the thickness here. Then we exit. So by the time we exit, we will come back to this cam plane. Originally from that, you can see that there is a punctuation mark over here at the stop because there is a changes in material. We need to do an update on the component of this assembly. Because cam actually you have raw material, you will consider an assembly. So how we're gonna go about? This is the way by right-click the right-click mouse. We update the status. We update the component by clicking the component bottom. We don't need to update the operation because ultimately we need to change something. So we close it. So you can see that this already been okay. And there's no punctuation mark over here, so we need to hide this. We need to show this material so that this is correct. At the same time, we need to hide the final cut. We want to work on the roughing cut because it's gray out over here. So we switch on and off, toggle it. So we on it back on the top facing. So you can see by the time the top facing is already being shown over here, the toolpath for the roughing and the gray out area of the gray out of the final cut. And also we display the stock. You can see that the material is much more higher now compared to the original that we started. How we gonna go about? Yes, right click, edit. You are right. We can change the top. Originally I just put a number, but actually we can use the surface on the raw material itself by clicking the top, and then you move your mouse over here. Then you can see that there's a cross, and you can click you can click anywhere on top of the face, and it will show you there's a point hex number that the system located. Ultimately, the most important thing, you can see that the base is 0, which is this one. You can see the sign color is 0, and the top is now 10 from the original 5. So you can, I go back to this one, you can see that there is a 5 over here and then 0. After you click on the top portion, then you can change that. We no need to change the bottom because we still are having 0 at the bottom. The next thing we need to change is that we need to have uniform depth. So you click the tolerance and step by choosing the uniform depth. How much depth we're gonna go about is 5. So we will have 2 passes over here, and also 1 pass for the final. We can calculate it, and this is gonna be the output for 2 passes on the roughing process. And we can do a solid verify. If you want to do a verify by itself, it also can, and I would rather than do a solid verify. So this is how we did on the solid verify. Output is okay so far, no problem. We can output the NC to find out the detail. Now you can see that there's extra from previously. Z is 1, then we do a roughing cut, which is the depth balance 1 mm for the final. Now we have a Z5, so we have take out 5 mm on top, and then after that 4 mm for the bottom second pass, then balance 1 mm for the final cut. After that, we can save this file, and then we can complete the whole process of changing the raw material from 5 mm to 10 mm. We will have more other method to show you on facing. So this is one of the methods that we use. So bear with me, I'm just going to switch to the practical mode, so to show you how we go about to do the actual cutting. Hello, welcome back. Let us start the demo so that you can know how we go about to update the raw material thickness. This is the file that I click on. We're going to choose this one, then we click open, and we're going to select the cam as usual. This is the output from the previous lesson, so we can see that this is 5.87 minutes. How we go about, we double click on the left mouse, then we will go into this mode for changing the raw material size. So you could use the middle mouse to roll up and down so that you can see the changes. We're going to do the direct edit on top. The direct edit is the one of the easiest way to solve the thickness issue by changing this. So we can use a DE face offset. We click that, then the screen will come out with this option. We have to choose faces. So what we're going to do is that we're going to choose this one, F2, this one. So if there is multiple places, then they will ask you to choose. We will put in 5 mm, and if we click somewhere, then they will show that the 5 mm has been extended to ask you to verify if this is the way that you want it to be. We click yes, click. So this one we already done 5 mm, and then we use the exit button to go back to the cam view. And test one, I said before, there's a punctuation mark here, so we need to update the component by right click and then update the status. So we'll update component, then the gray color, the punctuation mark is disappeared. Close this one. As I said before, we want to show this one so that it's bigger now. This is the show, and then we need to also hide the final cut. we want to work on the roughing cut. So this is how it's gonna be. So this is the roughing process that we make a few lessons ago. We want to update the detail, the parameter, so that it will cut 2 passes. This is the way. By clicking the right mouse button, then we go for edit as usual. We need to change the top portion that from original 5. Now I can use this one by clicking the surface on top, that it will change to 10. Look at it. Originally is 5. So now I click this one with this on top portion on the top surface, it will change to 10. And we need to change the uniform depth to 5 mm. And there's no other thing that we need to change. We just need to change these two, and we can do a calculate. So you can see that there's 2 passes is already created for this operation. We click OK. We can do a verification by solid verify. We can now move the speed down to 0.7 to show you much more better. We can start the cutting. So this is the first cut, second cut, final cut, final cut, final cut. Yeah, we have completed the simulation. Everything looks good. Nothing go wrong. So we can stop this one by clicking this one. And now we want to do a post processing by output the CL. Right click. As I mentioned in the theory class, so we have extra pass on the Z number 5, which is on top from Z1. This is the original one. Now this is the additional one for the 2 path. After we complete this one, we can output this file together directly, and then we just need to click this one to save the file. That is all for the simple changing of raw material thickness from the top. We will update you more in the next lesson how we go about to complete this part. That is all for now. I see you next lesson. Bye bye.